Hello, and welcome back to another video. This is the 14th episode of story in which the 4th Shinobi World War was over, and Naruto was finally captured by Madara. But is hope truly gone? And what the heck is happening to the Ghetto Mazo? Join our favorite blonde hero and the nine-tailed beasts on their great journey to the past. Let's see how Naruto deals with this. After you've finished watching, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. To begin, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Let's get this show going. It was a very beautiful day in Konohagakure. The sun wasn't too bright, but was still more than enough to bathe the whole village in her warm, vivid light. Sometimes, a light breeze swept through the air, bringing the aroma and petals of sakura blossom across the streets. An ideal weather for an outdoor picnic or hanging out at the park. But everything was just trivial to Sakura Haruno. Since after Naruto's departure, Sakura had buried herself in studying and training with her new master, Tsunade. And in just the time of 1 year, she had become the youngest qualified medic of Konohagakure during the last 20 years, and was the most promising candidate for the position of head medic after Tsunade retired in a few more years. The young girl walked out of the operation room, wiping her forehead with the sleeve of her blouse. The surgery today had been a very serious case. Had the patient arrived at the hospital just 1 hour later, he would have died from blood loss. That's enough for today, Sakura. You can go home and get a rest. At the corner of her eyes, she saw Tsunade coming toward her with a smile. She answered with a tired smile of her own. It's all right, master. I still have more than enough energy to work until my shift ends. Tsunade shook her head. I said enough is enough, Sakura. Besides, you already forgot what day today is? Sakura blinked, confused. And then she remembered. Naruto and Fu are supposed to be home today. It's been 3 years already, eh? I really miss my friends. Hey. But this place still hasn't changed a bit. I want ramen. Seriously, you brats. The three figures wearing straw hats stopped in front of the gate leading into Konoha. The gatekeepers, Izumo and Kotetsu, were immediately alarmed. Halt. Who are you, and what reason are you going to Konoha for? Wait. You are. Seriously, you guys, the younger man among them chuckled and reached for his hat. You can forget even someone like me? The hat was thrown to the sky, and he disappeared. A pair of feet landed on top of the tallest electric pole of the market venue of Konohagakure. Good day, Konoha. Naruto Uzumaki is back. Damn, I'm hungry. I really need some ramen right now. Jiraiya, walking next to Naruto, scowled. Seriously? Is the only thing you care about in Konoha ramen, Naruto? Fu, walking next to them, raised her hand helpfully. I want ramen too. The Toad Sage face-bombed. What the hell have I taught them in the last 3 years? The three had just arrived in front of Naruto's beloved Ijiraku ramen. The blonde Jinchuriki flipped the curtain up and walked into the shop. Hey old man. I'm back. Hope you haven't forgotten what I like to eat. Tucci looked up from the counter, and a smile immediately bloomed on his face. Ah. Naruto. And Fu too. Finally back, eh? Yeah. Naruto answered enthusiastically, jumping on a stoolie. Some ramen, please, old man. Anything. 3 years not allowed to eat your ramen is too much for me already. The ramen chef laughed when Fu and Jiraiya settled themselves on their own stools. Of course. There is no way I can forget what you like to eat. Everything will be ready in a few minutes. As the Ichiraku chef disappeared behind the curtain leading into the kitchen, Jiraiya took a quick glance at other people sitting in the store. The chef's daughter, Ayame, wasn't there. She must have been going out for grocery or something. But he was a bit surprised when no one else in the shop even showed any noticeable reaction upon Naruto's entering. So at least citizens of this village still have ahead to think. He smirked. The days in Konoha were going to be much better days for Naruto in his life. Sorry for the wait. Please enjoy. Finally. My ramen. It's finally, Naruto said, drooling at the steaming bowl which had just been set in front of him, but then, he realized that something was wrong. Here. He looked up, and realized he was looking into a pair of red eyes. 4 pairs of eyes looked at each other in the span of exactly 5 seconds. Why is Itachi here? Naruto jumped out of his stool and screamed, pointing at Itachi Uchiha, who was standing in front of him. In a cooking apron. The man in question only raised an eyebrow. So what if I'm here? He answered as if there was nothing more obvious in this world. I cannot work as a shinobi anymore, so what's wrong with me working here? But. You. Itachi. Ramen. Cook. Fu looked at Naruto, who was gaping like a fish next to her. "I think you broke him, Itachi-san," she said. At that moment, the curtain leading into the shop was pulled open again. "I knew I could find you here, Naruto." Naruto turned to the entrance of the ramen shop, and his face brightened. "Sakura." The aforementioned girl grinned, and pulled him into a bone-crushing hug. "So you finished your training, eh?" Naruto nodded while sucking in his string of noodle. "Yup. And I must warn you, I'm way stronger than before. Now I'm not scared of anyone, even Madara himself," he boasted. "What did I tell you about bragging, Naruto?" Naruto scowled mentally. "Oh come on. It's rare to have a chance like this, at least let me have a time for myself." Kokuo in Naruto's head huffed. "Fine, but don't come to me crying when something happens." "Oh, really?" Sakura exclaimed. Then she suddenly broke out a devious smile. "But you should prepare to be scared of us, Naruto." "Really? Oh, you have been training with Bachan too, right?" Naruto blinked. Sakura smiled. "Yeah, but that's not everything. Everyone else of the Konoha 15, after you left for your training trip, also pushed themselves to surpass their own limit over and over. Right now, everyone already advanced to Chunin, and some, like the whole team Guy and Shikamaru, had already reached special Jonin of their specialty. Actually Neji could have gone for full Jonin already, but he just refused the promotion again and again, saying that he needed to gather more experience first. And to be honest, I was surprised when Shikamaru decided to accept his promotion to special Jonin, considering how lazy he is. Naruto's mouth formed an O. "Wow, that's incredible. So what about you and Sasuke?" "Oh, us?" Sakura's nose pointed to the air. "We're already Jonin." Silence. "What? So now I'm the lowest ranking shinobi of Team 7? "Yup," Sakura said cheerfully. "And since you already returned, you'd better reach Jonin quickly, because we're not gonna wait for you to catch up to us." She ended her sentence with a wink. Naruto was dumbfounded for a few seconds, and then, his surprised face disappeared, replaced by a confident smile. "Just wait for it. I will catch up to you too so soon you won't be able to realize it, believe it. Yo, Gigi. We're back." The third Hokage raised his head from the paperwork he was doing, and smiled. "Ah, Naruto and Fu. Welcome back. How was the training trip? Brought any baby home yet?" From 3 different directions in Konoha, 3 what? Of outrage echoed through the air. The 2 Jinchuriki turned bright red. Hokage-sama. "We're not like that," Fu exclaimed, mortified and embarrassed. Hiruzen laughed. I'm kidding. But seriously, I hope the trip was not a waste. Did you two get any stronger than before?" "Of course. This time, it was Naruto who answered. We traveled across the whole elemental continent, learned a lot of jutsu, met a lot of cool people in all the lands, and our relationship with our tailed beast friends is better than ever. Now we're not afraid of anything, believe it." He pumped his fist to emphasize. The Hokage's eyes twinkled. "Then it's alright if I give you two a test, right? Bring it on. I'm not afraid of any stupid test." Naruto pumped his fist again. Then his face suddenly fell. "Except if it is a written test like before," Hiruzen chuckled. "That's something we will leave for later," he said, to Naruto's horror. "But an important ability a Jonin needs to have is fighting many enemies of equal or higher skills at the same time. Therefore, the first test I will give you two would be a 2-on-1 battle between you and 2 Jonin of my choice. And I assure you, they will be nothing like the opponents you have faced so far. Are you up to the challenge?" The 2 Jinchuriki glanced at each other, and the same confident smirk appeared on their faces. "Of course we're always ready for any challenge, Hokage-sama," Fu said, punching her right palm with her left fist. The Hokage smiled, satisfied. "Good. Then, Naruto, tomorrow at 8 o'clock, you will meet me at Training Ground 7. Fu, you will go to Training Ground 11, and we will conduct your test there. That's all for today. You can go home to rest and prepare now, or go meet your friends if you want. I'm sure they will be thrilled to meet you two after such a long time. Now, dismiss." "Sir." After Naruto and Fu had disappeared behind the door, Hiruzen turned to Jiraiya. "You were their master during the training trip, how strong do you estimate them to have become?" The Toad Sage shook his head. "I think you will have to see it yourself to know, Sensei. There is only one thing I can say. Is that just like I told you before we left, when you look at them fighting, you won't even see the old Naruto and Fu in them anymore." "Karen-ne-chan, I'm home." A loud crash, and the girl ran out of the kitchen, and engulfed her foster brother in a big hug. Ah. It's so good to finally be outside again. Goku stretched and yawned loudly, before throwing his body on the sofa in the living room. No one in the room argued with the ape man on that one. Sure, Naruto's mindscape was not bad, but 3 years having to stay in there without even a chance to get out was just too much for anyone, human or tailed beast. Having a real body in the real world is just completely different, nothing else can compare. No wonder why Kurama and the other tailed beasts were so pissed being sealed inside Jinchuriki. So, what did you guys do during your trip? Karen asked when setting a glass of apple juice, the drink Naruto had taken a fondness of after traveling back in time, to the table. Naruto, of course, grabbed the glass enthusiastically and took a big gulp. "Oh, a lot of things," he said after putting the glass down. "We traveled across the land, searching far and wide." Ow. What the hell was that for? Karen calmly retracted her fist, which had just landed on Naruto's cranium. "That's for ripping off Pokemon, idiot. Now, go straight to the point." Naruto rubbed the place where he had just been punched in annoyance. "Geez, you really don't know what a joke is. But seriously, during the trip we did go searching for a lot of things. We also managed to reach the ruins of the destroyed Ozoshiogakuer, you know." Karen's mouth turned into an O. "Really? How was it? Did you find anything there?" she asked in thrill. Naruto shrugged. "Not much, since almost everything of the village was destroyed already, remember? But here, I managed to bring back something I think you will like." He pulled out a sealing scroll from his weapon pouch, opened it up then unsealed the content. A very thick, very big book the size of half the table popped out of the scroll in a puff of smoke. Karen grabbed the book, and gasped. Uzumaki's Hidden Sealing Arts. "Naruto, do you know how valuable this book is? Many seal masters in the world have been hunting for it, including Orochimaru. How did you?" Naruto shrugged again. "Yeah, I know. Found it in a secret room below the ruins. I really didn't want to, but Pervy Sage forced me to learn everything in it by heart, so yeah, I don't really need it much by now. You just keep it to learn, Karen-chan. And don't worry about protecting it, I've sealed it up so that only people with Uzumaki bloodline can open it, so for now, only the two of us and maybe Tsunade-ba-chan can have any use for it." Karen stared at the book in front of her in awe. Having stayed with Orochimaru, she had heard about this incredible treasure countless times, but to be able to actually hold it on her hands. Then remembering something, she turned to Naruto. "You said you learned it by heart? How in the world can you remember something like this?" She pointed at the huge book with a trembling finger. "By heart. It's like, thousands of sealing jutsu written in here." Naruto just shrugged again. "Shadow clone jutsu, of course." Karen face-bombed. "Sure, any problem which can't be solved by one shadow clone can be solved by a lot of shadow clones, at least to this blonde brat." Then she blinked. "Wait, that means you can use ninjutsu without your right hand? How is that possible?" Naruto just gave her a mysterious smile. "Oh, there are still many things you haven't known about me, Karen-chan." Right at that time, the doorbell rang. "Oh, seriously? We've just been outside for 5 minutes." Shukaku complained. "Well, I guess it's time for us to return, eh?" Isobe yawned, and the tailed beasts disappeared in puffs of smoke, leaving only Karen and Naruto in the room. "I'll take it." Naruto jumped out of his chair and walked to the front door. He grabbed the doorknob with his left hand, twisted it open, and heard a loud gasp. Then, his vision was covered in a mop of silky black hair. "Yeah, I miss you too," he murmured, hugging back the girl who was crushing his ribs while crying heartily, "Hinata-chan." After that, Naruto and Hinata were kicked out of the house by a giggling Karen, who said something about having to start reading her precious book and that the two of them should go for a date to make up for 3 years not meeting each other, much to Naruto's rage and Hinata's squeaks of embarrassment. Therefore, now they're walking in the park near the Hyuga clan compound, hand in hand, just like a real couple. Poor Hinata was on the verge of fainting from blood rushing into her head. But that's understandable, as Naruto was also a blushing wreck at the moment. Yeah, 3 years of being taught about romantic love by Jiraiya, of all people, finally managed to bash the concept of love into the skull thicker than a coconut of the boy. Good for him, at least now he didn't think romantic love to be the same as ramen love anymore. Walking next to Hinata, Naruto finally had the chance to look at the girl up close. Before, even in his timeline, he could never get this close to the Hyuga girl without her fainting or they being in a huge battle. And his blush deepened when he realized how beautiful the girl in front of him was. Hinata wasn't someone who liked to dress up, like Ino or other girls. But even without any makeup on her face, Naruto could still feel a serene beauty coming from her. Maybe it was because of her pearly eyes, which always holds the same gentle, caring look. Or maybe it was because of the scent of lavender sent to his nose every time a breeze swept across. Or maybe it was the long, silky black hair flowing down her shoulders. Or maybe it was what even the thick, figure-hiding jacket she always wore couldn't hide, her voluptuous, D-cup. Bad Naruto. You cannot think of Hinata-chan like that. Aww. Our Naruto-kun is growing up Matatabi-kun in his head. But seriously, is there even a man in this world not thinking of her like that? Goku added in. I mean, just look at her. That pair of soft, bouncy Malo. Shut you up. To stop his utter embarrassment, Naruto turned to Hinata. Hey, Hinata-chan. So how was it during the 3 years I was gone? It must be awesome, huh? Ha ha ha. Upon finishing his sentence, Naruto immediately felt like to slap himself. With him away from Konoha for 3 whole years, there's no way she could feel awesome about it. Right? You are overestimating yourself too much there, Naruto. But contrary to what Naruto thought, Hinata answered him with a gentle smile. Well, I have learned a lot during the 3 years from Neji Niisan and father and, well, even though I am still not as good as Neji Niisan, I still managed to reach Chunin, so I'm sure that if anything happens I won't be a helpless girl who always has to depend on you, Naruto-kun. Naruto stared at Hinata in awe. Not only had she become more beautiful during the 3 years, she had also grown much more confident in herself. Naruto dared say that she's now anything but the doormat she had been a few years ago. Having a date 5 minutes after arriving home? You sure got bold after those 3 years, Naruto. Naruto nearly jumped out of his clothes upon hearing the voice right next to his ears. Ino? When did you get here? And how? Oh, maybe because you paid too much attention to your precious Hinata-chan to notice anything else about you? Kurama snarked in his head. Yep, that's me. The girl in question grinned cheekily, flashing a peace sign at him. Then she licked her lips in a naughty way. And you look much yummier than 3 years ago, Ino-san. Hinata protested in a voice that could be considered half a shriek. Ino laughed. I'm kidding, Hinata. I'm not going to steal your boyfriend. This part gained her another squeak of protest from the poor Hyuga girl. After all, I already had one, remember? Naruto blinked. Wait, you already had a boyfriend? She has been dating Ju-ugo for about 2 years already, Shikamaru, the one next to Ino, said. Seriously, that guy is just unreasonably nice. I swear I can't even believe he used to work for Orochimaru. So, Choji, the last member of Team 10, butted in with a bright smile. To celebrate Naruto and Fu coming back, let's go to my family's restaurant. We should invite everyone else, too, they're also eager to meet you too, Naruto laughed. Awesome. I'm still keeping the coupons you gave me 3 years ago, hope they still work. Of course. We Akimichi Barbecue always welcome you. So you're finally home, boss. Naruto blinked at the sudden interrupting voice. Huh. Then the whole park was covered in smoke. Wah. What the? Naruto coughed out. From inside the smoke screen emerged 2 human figures. Behold, the ultimate man-slaying jutsu, the most perfect, powerful form of the sexy art. Sexy, girl-on-girl jutsu. The smoke cleared, and nosebleeding ensued. Naruto facepalmed when he saw the figures of naked Hinata and Ino straddling each other in a very provocative way in front of him, with Shikamaru and Choji lying on the ground unconscious in puddles of their own blood. Konohamaru gave him a smirk when the 2 female figures disappeared, leaving the original boy in a cloud of smoke. Haha. How about that, boss? During the time you're away from Konoha, I have developed your sexy jutsu into a whole secret art. Naruto gaped. What? That's right. The grandson of the Hokage pumped his fist triumphantly. With my sexy arts, I can defeat virtually anyone as long as I have the time to prepare. That's true, but that's not something to use on allies, little brat. Naruto snapped his head back, and his eyes widened when he saw the one who had just spoken. You are Iruka-sensei. And Crazy Snake Lady? Anko, the owner of the voice, answered him with a cheeky grin and a wagging finger. Lust is one of the most basic and dangerous emotions of a human being that can be exploited in battle. It can defeat even the most powerful and experienced shinobi if used in a right way. But that's also why you cannot use the jutsu when fighting together with your allies, because it might incapacitate even your comrades while not causing any harm to your enemies, and that means you're dead. Understand that, Brat? Don't mind Anko, Naruto, she's always like this when it comes to her profession, Iruka chimed in with a smile. Anyway, you seem to be way more powerful than the last time I met you, Have you made good use of my present? Of course I have, sensei. Naruto pointed at his own chest with his thumb proudly. Just wait until tomorrow, I will show you how powerful I have become after my training. Then Naruto noticed something else. On Anko's right ring finger and Iruka's left one lay a similar small, golden object. His eyes widened. You two are married? Iruka scratched his head and smiled apologetically. Yeah, after you left about a year. I'm sorry you couldn't be there for the wedding, but Anko insisted so strongly and I was their ring bearer. Boss, Konohamaru chimed in. Ah, right, honorable ring bearer Brat, Anko suddenly spoke up with a, cheerful smirk. Another lesson for you, never use the shapes of women standing right at the scene in front of you to perform your jutsu, and if you had already done that, you should have run away with all your speed right after using the jutsu. Huh? Suddenly a killing intent filled the park. The sound of birds squawking in fear and flying away from the trees could be heard even from the Hokage monument. The temperature of the air abruptly dropped about 20 degrees. Konohamaru and Naruto turned their backs, only to face Ino and Hinata, who were donning the same utterly sweet smile on their faces, but the deathly aura coming off them clearly showed that there was nothing good about it. Sorry Konohamaru, but this is what you brought to yourself, you'll have to face it without me. What? Konohamaru could only exclaim in outrage when Naruto disappeared in a whoosh. Boss! How can you betray me like that? Then a few seconds later, screams could be heard echoing through Konohagakure. Everyone. For Naruto, for his return. Here. Naruto put his saucer down on the table and wiped his mouth. Damn, this sake is good. Since when have you learned to drink sake, Naruto? Sakura eyed her teammate in annoyance. You're just 16, for Kami's sake. Naruto just shrugged. Blame pervy sage. During the 3 years, he forced me to learn how to drink, and for some reason I never get drunk. Too much anyway. But it is still something good to heat my body up, I have to say. Next to him, Lee said in awe. Wow, sounds incredible, Naruto-san. I think I should try sake myself sometime. No. From the other side of the table, Tenten, Neji and Guy jumped up at the same time, terrified looks clear on their faces. Everyone laughed, while Lee shot an annoyed glare at his teammates. Finally, Naruto wiped his eyes and sighed. It's so great to be home, sitting next to everyone like this. But where is Sasuke anyway? I haven't seen him for a whole day. Sasuke-kun is going on a mission, but he's set to be back tonight, Sakura answered him. Just wait until tomorrow, Ni? He also wants to see you a lot, you know. Naruto closed his eyes. He didn't want to admit it, but the truth is, he had been waiting for this day for a long time. Even after Sasuke and everyone else told him that he didn't have anything to worry about them. Oh, hell, how could he not worry? 3 years had gone in a flash, and now he's home, but the most important person in his life, the friend he did everything to redeem and bring back during his timeline wasn't. So how were you guys during the last 3 years? He picked a well-done slice of beef from the grill up and changed the subject. We trained, Neji said simply, to the disappointment of both Naruto and Fu. Everyone else face-bombed. Surely that's not everything you did during those 3 years, isn't it? Fu asked. I heard your team all reached Special Jonin, so you must have done a lot of awesome missions and things, right? Actually, we did have our things to do during the time, Ino nodded, taking a big gulp from her glass of juice. Remember before you left, Hokage-sama declared that he's taking a group of Anbu named Root into the force? Well, turned out they're actually real, and the Yamanaka clan had taken the mission to rehabilitate those Root guys. It's horrible, working with them was just like working with a pile of rocks. They don't even seem to have a tiny bit of emotion. Such a shame, some of them are so handsome. She complained loudly while placing her glass on the table, a little bit more forcefully than necessary. Are you really saying that in front of your own boyfriend? Karen deadpanned. Juugo raised his hand. I don't actually mind, though. Karen face-bombed. You will lose your girlfriend for sure if you continue with that carefree attitude, Juugo. We also had a lot of interesting missions when you were away, Tenten chimed in. She pulled out something cylindrical shaped from her pouch. And from one of those missions I managed to retrieve this from a Shinobi of Rain, a blade made of golden chakra flared up from the tip of the object, the famous sword of the Thunder God, made by the second Hokage himself, lost years ago. It's basically a treasure of Konoha, but Hokage-sama allowed me to keep it, as he said, I was the one who's the most suitable for it. She ended with a creepy giggle. Then suddenly she shuddered. But seriously, can anyone think that the crazy head interrogator has a little brother? And holy shit, I didn't even think there could be someone who's crazy and lucky enough to follow Guy Sensei and Lee's training method and become as fast as them. Ignoring Guy and Lee's "Hey," Kiba started boasting. "Hey! But you guys didn't have the honor of escorting a princess like us. And who knows, a princess could be a famous actress also, eh?" He glanced at his teammates, and Hinata giggled softly, while Shino was still calm and stoic as always. "Ooh, a princess, huh?" Fu's eyes widened. "Yeah." Kiba pumped his fist. "We were the heroes who saved the whole land of snow from the hands of a tyrant. How does that sound, huh?" "Sounds like a fairy tale to me," Shikamaru, sitting at the other side of the table, snarked. "Hey! Fuck you, Shikamaru." Naruto fondly looked at his friends. What they had just mentioned were all missions he had done during his past. The difference is, this time, it was his friends who completed them instead of him. Once again, he was reminded that this time he was not the only hero. "So, what did you three do during the trip, Naruto?" This time, it was Kakashi who raised his voice. Apart from becoming a few inches taller and having muscles, he waved his hand at Fu. Naruto smiled. "Oh, we did a lot of things, you know. Outside of training, we also went around the continent, visited the hidden villages and their Jinchuriki, and warned them about the Akatsuki threat. We also helped the Mist bringing back their Jinchuriki. His name is Utakata, I think. Although the stone wasn't very happy when seeing us, but at least they didn't chase us out right after we entered the village anyway." Choji took a slice of beef from the grill and swallowed it in one bite. "So you met other people like you, What kind of people are they?" "Oh, they're mostly decent people," Fu answered for Naruto, while grabbing a slice for herself. "As long as no one tries to bring harm to them or to their village. B-san and Yugito-san are cool, although they're usually a bit weird, especially B-san with his Enka streak. And Utakata-san is mostly very nice, but in no way should you try to mess with them. I still remember that time with the girl in the Tsushigumo clan." She shuddered. "I think I remember that one," Tenten noted. "Is that the incident when someone tried to unleash a Kinjutsu with the power to nuke out a whole great village in one blast?" Fu nodded. "That's the one. It happened when we went to search for Utakata-san by Karagakure's request. Anyway, we managed to convince most of the missing Jinchuriki to go back to their own villages," Naruto concluded. "Although Roshi wasn't very happy when we told him that he had to go back to Iwa, at least now he has a village to protect him when the Akatsuki goes for him. And we couldn't find the Three Tails anywhere. Pervy Sage guessed he might not have reappeared yet after that civil war in Kiri, but Kiri promised us they would find him as soon as he finished reforming, of course in a civil way." "That's a sound strategy," Shikamaru commented. "If what you said and what we heard from Itachi about the Akatsuki was true, then we will need more than just the power of a single village or a single Jinchuriki to defeat them. Hokage-sama also mentioned this during the Cage Summit right after you three left the village. But to think you could actually track down all the missing Jinchuriki around the whole continent when you had all the training to do. Actually, searching for the Jinchuriki is also a part of their training," Jiraiya, who hadn't said anything for a while, chuckled. "In order to find them, we had to gather information from a lot of different sources. That alone managed to give them a lot of training in tracking and information gathering skills, and also when meeting the other Jinchuriki, they also learned a lot of things from them, from fighting skills to ability to control the power of their tailed beasts. Suffice to say, they could grow up like they did today thanks to the meeting with those Jinchuriki. Wow, that must mean you are now vastly more powerful than even before. Naruto-san. Fu-san too. I want to spar with you two as soon as possible." Lee pumped his fist enthusiastically, flipping his bowl upside down into the grill in process as Fu and Naruto chuckled nervously. "Leave sparring for later, you guys." Kiba butted in. "Choji is hogging all of the meat for himself. If you don't eat now there won't be anything else." Everyone turned back, and saw the Akimichi holding the last piece of meat above his mouth with his chopsticks. "Ah. Choji, you were the one who invited us here and now you're eating everything like that? The last bite is the most sacred. Like how I'm letting any one of you get it." While the young shinobi were bickering loudly with each other, Asuma turned toward Jiraiya. "You do realize that this will piss the Akatsuki off, do you, Jiraiya-sama?" "How so?" Kurenai, sitting next to him, blinked in confusion. But instead of Asuma, Tsunade answered. "The fact that Jiraiya and the kids could track down the missing Jinchuriki means providing time and effort. Anyone else could have done it. And Jinchuriki are usually despised by citizens of hidden villages, as you already saw how Naruto and Fu used to be. Therefore, if there were anything happening to them, they wouldn't be able to expect any assistance, especially ones who were missing Nineveh village. It means had it not been for Jiraiya and the kids' intervention, the Akatsuki would have been in perfect position to capture at least 3 of the Jinchuriki, and the Sanbi also, since only Kumo, us, and recently Suna still have their Jinchuriki under protection. Yeah, Asuma agreed. And that would lead them into a big problem, because now every Jinchuriki is under the protection of a great village. That might lead to them trying reckless things, like attacking a great village to kidnap their Jinchuriki. That will definitely lead to the 4th Shinobi World War. Much earlier than we have expected, maybe. That's true, but I don't think we should worry about that too much for now. Everyone turned to look at Jiraiya, who had just set his saucer down on the table with a loud clack. His eyes was glimmering a proud and confident twinkle. We already thought of that problem, and had figured out a solution for it. And anyway, after 3 years with those 2 brats, I'm sure that the Akatsuki won't be able to get them easily even if they throw in all their force. Explaining is hard, you have to see their test tomorrow to understand. Report, Zetsu. The plant man sprouted up from the ground. The black half's mouth twisted open in a creepy way, showing its black, pointy teeth. Naruto, Uzumaki and Fu have just returned to Konohagakure this morning. Also, Han of the Steam has been registered back to Iwagakure's shinobi force. Now it seems all the Jinchuriki have been in protection of their respective village. And the villages themselves have also tightened their security. There is little chance we can slip into one of the great villages without being noticed. Silence filled the air of the meeting chamber for a while. Then, Pain asked, "What about the 3 tails?" Still no sign of it. But we think it is possible to find where it will reappear. It should be in a lake at the border of Kirigakure. I told you we should have captured the 5 tails before it managed to go back to Iwa, or at least after it parted way with the 9 tails and its friends, yeah? But no, you just didn't listen. Datara complained. Now we had to move the base out of Amigakure to the middle of nowhere like this. And there's no way that old Coot would let it out of his sight again. Yeah. Everything happened because of Itachi's betrayal. Kisame, the usually calmest member of the Akatsuki, growled in a dark tone. 2 of the things he hated the most in his life were liars and traitors. Which was ironic, considering he was the one who had backstabbed even his trusted comrades without a blink of an eye when he was still in Kirigakure. And even though Itachi was the closest one to a, well, brother in the Akatsuki, he still couldn't forgive him for what he had done. To him, right now, Itachi was just an enemy, like any other enemy in this shinobi world who needed to be destroyed. In this case we might have to resort to an all-out war if we want to capture the Jinchuriki. Black Zetsu was talking. We don't have the manpower to actually cause a shinobi world war, Sasori pointed out. Even gathering enough people to sync with the Ghetto Mazo, we couldn't do. If we wanted to go to war, we need at least more people first. You don't have to worry about manpower. Every eye turned towards Tobi, who had just spoken those words. I have been preparing during the last 3 years, the masked man said under his mask. Now, we have at least 100,000 troops in dispose. Although they are quite weak, they can still overwhelm an army in number if necessary. 100,000? Datara exclaimed in astonishment. Where the hell did you get so many soldiers, yeah? That's like, twice the population of Iwagakure, including the civilians, yeah. I have my own source, Tobi just answered idly. Now, if you want to attack, we can declare a total war on the whole elemental continent. No. Now everyone turned back to Pain, who had just declared. It's not the time for a total war yet, the Rinnegan holder said. However, you are right about one thing, it's now time for the Akatsuki to make a move. Tobi, with that source of yours, can you recruit any more troops? Tobi's Sharingan twinkled under his mask. Of course I can. Good, Pain nodded. Then Datara, Kisame, Sasori, get ready to move out. Take 10,000 troops from Tobi with you. Isn't that kinda overkill? Kisame raised an eyebrow. Even if they're protected in villages, if you want to capture a Jinchuriki, aren't 2 of us already enough? The fact they recalled the Jinchuriki means the villages are ready for a war with us, Pain answered in a deathly cold voice. Then so be it. If they want a war, we will give them a war. They will understand what true pain is. Hokage-sama, I have returned. Here is the report for the mission. Hiruzen smiled and took the scroll from the hand of the newcomer. Ah, very well done. I will send you the reward for this mission tomorrow morning. For now, you should go home and have a rest. After all, you will need your best for your most important mission tomorrow. On the face of the shinobi grew an excited smile. He's home? It's so great to finally be able to be with you guys like this again. Naruto exhaled in happiness while walking on the street next to his friends. Jiraiya, Tsunade and the Jonin had gone home before them, and Sakura, Neji, Lee, Tenten and Shikamaru had also left, saying that they had things to prepare for. Naruto couldn't blame them. After all, they had way more work to do now than a Chunin like Naruto. Therefore, now there were only Karen, Hinata, Fu, Ino, Kiba, Shino and Naruto himself on their way back home after leaving Akimichi Barbecue. The group had reached the intersection leading back to Ino, Kiba and Shino's clan compounds. So, see you guys later. Good luck on your test tomorrow, Naruto, Fu. Ino waved at the group before disappearing into her house. Kiba and Shino had also left to get back to their own homes. So, I think I have to go home now too. You know, to prepare for tomorrow, Naruto scratched his head awkwardly. Hinata smiled. It's fine Naruto-kun. You don't have to take me and Fu-san back home, after all, the Hyuga clan ground and Fu-san's apartment are both at the other side. Yeah, Naru-kun. Remember that I've just been back from training with you, I won't let anyone hurt Hina-chan, believe it. Fu also said enthusiastically. Karen face-bombed. Seriously, Fu, of everything you could have learned from Naruto, you learned that stupid verbal tick? Hey, don't diss the... In the middle of his sentence, Naruto suddenly jerked his head up, and he immediately moved his left hand in an upward motion. Two kunai appeared in midair and shot forward in a blinding speed, impaling the two birds of prey made of ink, which were flying toward the group blending into the darkness of the night with clear intention of harming, destroying them with the utmost precision. Naruto pointed his finger at a seemingly random direction. I have sensed you since we stepped foot into this street. I was just going to wait until Hinata-chan and Fu-chan went home to confront you, but since you declared attack first, I guess I have to pull you out of your hiding place a little bit sooner. Show yourself. Instead of coming out like Naruto said, 6 other tigers made of ink appeared and rushed the group from all directions. Naruto's eyes narrowed, his left hand twitched again, ready for another projection. But before he could do anything, Hinata had appeared in front of him, her Byakugan flaring up, ready for action. And with exactly 6 quick and accurate divine shooters, the tigers became 6 puddles of ink on the ground. Hinata looked back at Naruto with a smile. Naruto grinned back at her, then disappeared from her view. Did he just teleport? No, he's just that fast. The shinobi who had just attacked was completely taken aback when Naruto suddenly appeared behind him in a gust of speed. But he wasn't an amateur either, he raised his arms up immediately to block, and Naruto's kick landed on his forearms, but was only enough to send him flying away from his hiding spot. He landed on the street, unharmed. The girls behind him rushed in, but the shinobi raised his voice. Please stop. I mean no harm. You've just attacked us, Naruto pointed out. The shinobi answered him with a fake smile under his mask. I'm really sorry for attacking you without warning. The truth is, Lord Hokage has assigned me with the duty of protecting you in the village, Naruto-kun, and I just want to see how good you are against a sudden attack. Naruto's eyes narrowed. So you are an Anbu? Then remove your mask and let me see your face, because I know all the Anbu in the village, and I'm sure I've never seen you before. That was just a bluff, but the masked shinobi nodded. Ah, yes, Lord Hokage also told me about this. Then reaching towards his face, he removed his mask. The code name I was given for this mission is Sai. He gave Naruto another fake smile, and reached out his hand. Nice to meet you, Naruto-kun. You can't be sorry. Karen raised her voice angrily, but stopped abruptly when Naruto readily took the shinobi's hand with a smile. Thank you, Naruto-kun. I'll see you later. With that, the Anbu member disappeared in a swirl of leaf. What was that for, Naru-kun? You could have gone for him before he ran away. Fu complained, but Naruto just smiled at her. He won't be able to do anything to me. And I know what he said was true, so don't worry, Fu-chan. He didn't see Karen and Hinata looking at the spot Sai had just disappeared from with the same wary eyes. Gaara put down his pen and let out a deep sigh. The job of a Kage was definitely hard. Paperwork after paperwork continuously piled up on his desk every day, seemingly endless, not leaving him even a few hours to rest. But Gaara loved it. This job finally gave him a purpose, a reason to live instead of mindless killing, and he felt it was his opportunity to redeem himself of everything terrible he had done in the past. Not to mention, a Kage was someone who was trusted and recognized by people. Being the Kazekage meant he was finally seen not as Shukaku the murderous tailed beast, but Gaara of the Sand, A true shinobi of Sunagakure. The young Kazekage stood up and walked to the window. The moon was so bright, showing that the next day would be a sunny day. Well, that was a fact, rarely was there rain in the desert anyway. Right at that time. Gaara's eyes suddenly hardened. With a very quick movement of his hand, the robe he was wearing flew out of his body, leaving him in his battle attire, ready for action. He barked into thin air. "Call Kankuro, Tamari and Baki here immediately. And alert the whole village to prepare for a large-scale battle. We are being invaded." "Alright, so who are going to be my opponents today?" Naruto walked into Training Ground 7 with a boisterous laugh. The Hokage, Jiraiya, Tsunade, Kakashi and other people turned towards the blonde Jinchuriki. Naruto noted that Kiba, Shino, Karen, Juuko and the members of Team Guy weren't in the training ground. They must have been watching Fu's test, which was happening at the same time. "Ah, Naruto, you are here," Hiruzen smiled. "So, I think we can start the test now, huh? Are you ready?" "Ha. Of course I'm always ready," Naruto answered. Confidence was clearly visible in his face. He punched the palm of his left hand with his mechanical right hand. "I will take on anyone you throw at me." "But who would be those people anyway?" "That would be us." From the group of Jonin watching, two figures stepped out. And Naruto's eyes widened when he realized who they were. Sakura? And Sasuke? "Kazekage-sama, every civilian in the village has been evacuated. But we couldn't recall all the shinobi who were on mission. Therefore, the force we could gather to defend the village is only about 3,000 counting all the Genin." Gaara closed his eyes. "I see. Kazekage-sama." Another Jonin in the room raised his voice. "May I ask, how large is the invading force we're going to fight?" Gaara threw him a sharp, piercing look. "Do you want me to tell the truth or the sugar-coated lie?" Everyone in the room gulped. Their Kazekage never showed fear or concern about anything when it came to fighting. For him to say words like this, the problem should be much greater than they thought. "Baki-sensei." Gaara suddenly barked. "Why yes, Kazekage-sama." The aforementioned Jonin's eyes widened, and he answered the sudden command with a rather shaken voice. Gaara looked straight into his eyes. "You are always the Jonin I trust the most in this village. But the mission I'm about to give you now is one that will decide the fate of the village. Are you up to the task?" "Of course, Kazekage-sama." Baki nodded with the utmost firm tone in his voice. Gaara nodded. "Very good. Then." He pulled out an envelope from his drawer and gave it to the Jonin, who took it with widened eyes. "Please bring this letter to Konohagakure and give it to the Hokage as quickly as possible. Do not get caught, do not stop until you reach Konoha, and don't let it fall into the hand of the enemies. Hokage-sama will understand it when he reads it. Do you understand?" The Jonin's eyes widened. Usually, a message from village to village should be sent by hawks or similar trained animals, but for a Kage to order a mail to be delivered personally by a high-ranked shinobi? "Yes, sir," he answered, and disappeared in a flick of wind. "Good. Then everyone else, let's go outside to meet with our troops. We should prepare our best to defend against the invaders before they come here. Which will be in about 3 hours. Shinobi of Sunagakure. I have a question for you, do you love this village?" The voice of Gaara, amplified by chakra, echoed across Sunagakure. Every shinobi at the square stopped their arguments and turned towards their Kazekage. One person in the crowd yelled up. "Of course we love the village, Kazekage-sama." Gaara nodded, satisfied. "Very good. Then, I trust that all of you will do everything you can to protect our village if someone would invade her?" "Yes." Gaara looked around the crowd. All the faces he had known, the faces of the people whose relatives might have been killed by him during the time he was still a crazy maniac, the faces of all the Sunagakure citizens he had sworn to protect in order to redeem himself, now were looking at him with trust in their eyes. He closed his eyes for a brief moment, and when he opened them again, he said, "Our village is going to be attacked by an unknown force in 3 hours. I don't know who is behind this sudden attack. If it was the Akatsuki who was attacking, I would have faced them myself, but they are bringing an army of thousands. Which means they do not just intend to capture me, the Jinchuriki of Sunagakure, but they are also going to destroy our village. I alone have no way to defend our village against that massive army." In the crowd, murmurs of shock and fear started to spread. Everyone was taken aback from this sudden declaration. They couldn't even expect someone would dare to attack a great village so suddenly, without even a declaration of war, and with such a great force. Within the rank of the Genin, loud sobs could already be heard. Then suddenly, Gaara did something no shinobi of Sunagakure could expect. He bowed. So please, shinobi of Sunagakure. Please, at this moment, forget all the hatred toward each other and toward me, and lend me your strength to protect our home. Let's unite all our power, and at least in this battle, we will work together, as protectors of our home village. Those words coming from Gaara sent a surge of emotion through the entire Sunagakure shinobi force. Everyone was completely taken aback before the utmost humble words of their Kage. Some murmurs were starting to emerge. Then suddenly, a voice boomed from inside the crowd. We believe in you, Kage-sama. We will do anything in our power to help you in the village. Just like a trigger, hundreds and hundreds of cheers started coming from the crowd. They echoed through the air, rumbling the whole village. And a smile appeared on Gaara's lips. Very well. Then everyone, prepare yourself as quickly as possible and get to your position. We will fight with all we have, and we will win. Yes, sir. Then, when every shinobi had already returned to their positions, Gaara looked up the night sky. You just come here, Akatsuki. I can forgive you if you try to capture only me. But if you dare do anything to harm this village, I, Gaara, will knock you all down. Sasuke? Sakura? How can you two be the ones testing me? Naruto asked, pointing at his two friends in shock. Sasuke just answered him with a smirk. Why shouldn't we be? After all, we are both jonin now, we have more than enough authority to be your examiners. Or, just like reading the Uchiha's mind, Sakura continued without even missing a beat. Are you afraid of us? Sasuke and Sakura both reached jonin after your departure only 2 years, Naruto. Hiruzen smiled, walking up. I can assure you, their ability now is nothing less than that of Kakashi and Gai. Or maybe even more. Especially if they are allowed to work together, he finished, stressing at the word if. His eyes twinkled at the two jonin, and they blushed. Huh? Naruto donned his foxy thinking face. Why do you say if? What does that mean? The Hokage's eyes twinkled even more. Oh, after they started Dottie. Master. Stop that. Naruto nearly choked, both in surprise when he heard the word coming from Sasuke's mouth, and in laughter upon seeing the flustered face he could never imagine on the Uchiha. After finally managing to calm himself down, he breathed out. So? You and Sakura are dating? And your master is Jiji himself? Wow. I really missed a lot of things during those 3 years, huh? You are going to miss even more if you underestimate us in this test, Naruto. Sakura flexed her bicep muscles, and grinned confidently. Sasuke didn't say anything, he just cracked his knuckles in anticipation, his Sharingan flared up to life. Naruto grinned back. Oh yeah? I also always want to see how good the students of Bachan and Jiji actually are here. That brat. Tsunade rubbed her nose bridge. Still insolent as ever. Hiruzen grinned. Then we're not going to hold it back any longer. Let the test begin. Baki slumped down to the ground. He had done his best to get past the enemy line, but he was also nearly killed in the effort to do so. This is not good. I don't know if I can even get to Konoha in this state. He coughed out a glob of blood. If he failed in this mission, Sunagakure would be doomed, for real. He crawled toward a tree stump and sat down. Wiping the blood on his mouth, he formed some hand seals. Summoning jutsu. A small weasel popped out in a burst of smoke, and gasped in horror when she saw the state of her summoner. Baki-sama. What happened to you? This is not the time to ask. The Suna Jonin breathed out. He reached into the pocket of his flak jacket and pulled out the scroll Gaara gave him. Tatsumaki, you are the fastest weasel in the world, who can move with the speed of wind. Please, you have to bring this to Konohagakure, to the Hokage as quickly as possible. I can hold the enemies back for a while, maybe about half a day or so, enough for you to reach the leaf to get reinforcement. The weasel's eyes widened. No, I can't do that. I need to help you. She started, but Baki stopped her. Please, Tatsumaki. The fate of Sunagakure is lying in your hand. You need to do this, for the sake of our village, our citizens. Ga. He couldn't finish the sentence without coughing out another glob of blood. The summon was trying to say something else, but the look in Baki's eyes completely stopped her words in her throat. Alright, I will go to Konoha as fast as I can. Finally, she said. But please don't die before I can bring reinforcement to you, okay? The weasel was nearly in tears when she said those words. Baki chuckled, and rubbed her tiny head. Yeah, sure. I'm not going to die that easily, you know. The weasel nodded, and disappeared in a gust of wind. Baki looked at the direction his summon had just disappeared to for a few seconds, before sighing and checking his weapon pouch. "Let's see what I can do now." Tsunade raised an eyebrow when Naruto slipped into his fighting stance. "He is not going to use the chakra or thing he has?" Jiraiya chuckled. "Why do you think Naruto should go for that so soon, princess? The fight hasn't even begun yet." "She has a point, you know," Hiruzen, standing next to him, pointed out. "He would need more than that if he wants to fight Sasuke and Sakura with a stance full of holes like that." "Are you sure he isn't underestimating his opponents?" Jiraiya chuckled again. "Actually, the whole point of our training was to make him not to rely on that form too much. You are also a fighter, I bet you understand what would happen if you got drunk on a power which was not your own. And trust me, Naruto won't even need to use that power." It seemed Sasuke also had the same thought as his master and Tsunade. "Are you just going to attack us straightforwardly and casually like that?" He raised an eyebrow. "You're underestimating us too much, Naruto. And you won't be able to lay a hand on us if you don't come at us with intent to kill." Naruto grinned. "I already knew that hiding against you two is useless. Besides, who said I'm underestimating you?" Then with a roar, chakra blasted out of Naruto's body like a storm. It whipped around, even the spectators standing far away could feel it thrashing at their faces. What is that?" Choji choked out. Is this the Kyuubi's chakra?" "No," Hiruzen answered him. His face was still as calm as ever, but his eyes were narrowing. "This is only Naruto's chakra. But to think he could reach such a level in just 3 years." Then, suddenly it died down as if nothing happened. "Be careful, Naruto," from inside his head, Goku warned him. "I can feel something very different about those two. They are definitely not someone you can underestimate now." "Yeah, I know. Oh, and by the way, can I ask you guys not to interfere with this fight?" Naruto's request made every tailed beast startled. "What are you talking ab?" Shukaku started, but Naruto immediately cut in. "I want to fight them with my own power. I wanted to show them I got stronger on my own, not because I relied on your power all the way. And to be honest, using your power in a mock battle like this is kinda overkill, you know." What Naruto had just said made the tailed beasts stop complaining. "Alright, but if there is something bad happening to you, we will definitely step in, understand?" Naruto smiled. "Yeah, thank you all. You're the best." Then he smirked at Sasuke. "How about that? Huh?" Sasuke smirked back. "We'll see." Then, faster than Naruto could blink, the Uchiha closed the distance between them and delivered a quick punch at the Jinchuriki. The force of the punch was not great, but the dangerous thing about it was the very high speed and its aim at the weakest hole in Naruto's stance. If the punch could land on its target, it could definitely be something that could end the fight immediately. But Sasuke's eyes narrowed when Naruto blocked the attack without showing even a slight effort. "I see. So he's using a style similar to that guy in Kiri. Deliberately showing his weak point to lure his opponent to attack that point and ignore other places. But that's not enough to defeat me." The Uchiha immediately switched his target, this time aiming at a point less dangerous but much harder for Naruto to block. But to the Uchiha's surprise, Naruto matched his strike with a strike of his own. "So he could even fight like that, huh?" Sasuke was sent back a few steps by the sheer force of the strike Naruto used. And the Jinchuriki immediately took that chance. This time, it was him who closed in for a kick aiming at Sasuke's ribcage. With the Sharingan, the Uchiha could see the attack quite clearly, and he ducked to dodge it. What he didn't expect was that Naruto's leg suddenly stopped in mid-air, and the Jinchuriki's heel was brought down at the blind spot of the Sharingan, his back. Even the Byakugan with the 360-degree vision still had the deadly blind spot at the nape of the neck. The Sharingan, with only the front vision available, of course couldn't see the sudden attack incoming. And at that range, Sasuke could not dodge, either. Ino's eyes widened. "Isn't that the move Sakura used in the Chunin exam against Neji?" "I got you now," Naruto yelled triumphantly. "But hey, nope." On the ground, Sasuke suddenly started to spin. Not like the rotation technique of the Hyuga clan, but on his back, like a breakdance artist performing. The momentum of the spin allowed him not only to dodge the dropkick of Naruto just in time, but also to deliver the first hit, a kick to Naruto's supporting leg. That hit made Naruto stumble ahead a few steps, but he managed to regain his balance immediately. At the other side, Sasuke had also managed to stand up. He kicked the ground, making a distance between them, and weaved through hand seals. Fire style. Dragon Flame Jutsu. The huge fireball in the shape of a dragon head blasted out of his mouth and rushed towards Naruto. Not even stopping to think, Naruto raised his hand. A Rasengan started forming in less than a second, But it was different from a normal Rasengan. It was glowing a blue much deeper than Naruto's normal chakra, and had some kind of swirl ripping around it. Water style, Rasengan, he yelled, and through the sphere of chakra, water and fire clashed against each other, and the sudden change in temperature made a loud bang noise, like a cannon being shot. The two shinobi backtracked and glared at each other. "Turned out you're not that bad, eh?" Sasuke said within breaths. Naruto grinned back. "I told you. I'm sure a taijutsu specialist like you can see what Naruto was doing before, right, Hinata?" The timid Hyuga girl was startled when Jiraiya asked her the question. "Ah. Right. As I saw, it seems Naruto-kun didn't fight in a certain style at all. There is no style I know which could change from flexible defense to powerful attack by sheer strength and then defense again that fluently, even the gentle fist. More like, he is using a combination of multiple different styles." Jiraiya turned towards his teacher. "So you realized it too, eh sensei?" "Of course," the Hokage nodded. "But I didn't know that you could teach someone like Naruto a style like that. You aren't exactly the material to be a taijutsu master, right?" "Well, you are absolutely right," Jiraiya chuckled. "But don't forget that I wasn't the only master of Naruto. I obviously couldn't do that. But someone," he hesitated a bit at this part, "who is very close to him could. He and Naruto, somehow, managed to combine the style of many shinobi the brat had met in the past to make that style." "I see." Hiruzen smiled, rubbing his chin. "No wonder. I could see the style of that boy from Kiri, the power of Lee and Guy's strong fist, the flexibility of Sakura's own style in his style. Naruto has grown into a formidable shinobi, indeed." "Hey," the Toad Sage smirked. "I already told you. But you shouldn't feel comfortable yet." The two elder shinobi turned to Tsunade, who had just spoken up. The legendary medic grinned. "You still haven't seen my student performing, right? But I'm sure that's not everything you can do, HN?" Sasuke said, his Sharingan still not leaving the Jinchuriki's face. "Of course not," Naruto answered with a grin. "And I know that you are holding back a whole lot, too, am I right? It's time for you to show me your real strength." Sasuke didn't retort. Instead, he turned to Sakura. "You have seen enough, right, Sakura?" The pink-haired girl smiled at him, and cracked her knuckles. "Yeah, I have seen enough to understand how he is right now. It's time for me to join the battle." Sasuke smirked. Then, he pulled his left sleeve up. Under the fabric, on his skin, was a tattoo of a sealing array. Having been trained thoroughly in sealing jutsu, Naruto could realize immediately it was a storage seal, with another seal to bind what sealed inside the array to the owner indefinitely. And Sasuke slapped his right hand on the sealing array. In a puff of smoke, something appeared. It looked like a small hatchet, but with two blade-like prongs at the top instead of one. But however Naruto looked, they were both too small to act as a kind of weapon in any way. And at the tip of the hilt, there was a suspicious notch sticking out in a strange way, with a big, blue orb. Naruto didn't know what kind of gem it was at the point connecting the blades with the hilt. And right below it, there was a strange cylindrical construct Naruto didn't know the uses. In general, the thing looked too weak and fragile to be an effective weapon. "Using a weapon, huh? Then I guess I will have to use my own weapon too." The Jinchuriki activated his own storage seals, and in two puffs of smoke, the pair of swords Iruka gave him on his birthday fell into his hands. The twin blades, one long, one short, fit on Naruto's hands just like they were made for him. Naruto and Sasuke glared at each other for 5 seconds. And at the sixth one, Sasuke charged. Naruto was completely taken aback. A hatchet wasn't something made for a thrust like what Sasuke was doing. And yet, the Uchiha was charging at him with the notch of his hatchet aiming at his stomach. "What are you?" Sasuke's mouth curled up, and from his lip movement, Naruto could see him whispering. "Flare, take Mikazuchi." "Yes, master." First form, Susanoo Goren, a female voice, came out from the weapon Sasuke was holding, and from the tip of the notch, a blade made of blue lightning chakra suddenly sprouted out and lengthened with a dangerous speed, threatening to impale Naruto in the stomach in 1 second. Not even having the time to think, Naruto immediately coated his blades with wind chakra and bashed the incoming blade upward. The blade of lightning and the blade of wind clashed against each other, making a disturbing noise. But the move didn't even manage to halt Sasuke on his way. With just a flick of his hand, Take Mikazuchi, which was being bashed up, changed direction in midair and aimed a downward slash at Naruto's left shoulder. With his left hand already on the air to stop the previous attack, Naruto couldn't pull it back fast enough to block this strike. At this rate, His left arm was going to be hacked off. HRGH. Naruto quickly leaned back, and with a quick burst of chakra from his feet, he pushed himself back, right in time for the chakra blade not to cut him in half, but not enough to avoid a cut at his chest. His jacket was slashed open, and blood spurted out on the ground, and Sasuke's clothes. Immediately, his healing factor started working and fixed the damage to his body. Then Sasuke blurred away, and in his place now was Sakura, with her fist cocked back. Oshi. Naruto immediately focused his chakra. In a blink of an eye, 3 great swords appeared between him and the pink-haired kunoichi as a shield to block the attack. And Sakura's fist crashed against the chakra-made steel blades. The 3 swords were torn apart as if they were made of paper. The shockwave coming from Sakura's punch was so great it blasted a whole patch of forest behind Naruto away, even though where they were standing was at least meters away from the forest. Naruto himself was blown away like a ragdoll. Even though the punch didn't touch him, he crashed into the ground with a sickening thud. Holy crap! What the hell did you teach her, princess? Those were the only words Jiraiya could choke out upon seeing the scene in front of him. Instead of answering, Tsunade gave him a question. Have you ever heard about the limit break theory, Jiraiya? The Toad Sage pondered. I think I heard about it before. Then his eyes widened. Wait. Don't tell me. Yeah, Tsunade admitted. I already told her that way of training was completely insane, but she insisted on it so much I had no choice but to help her. Outside of medical training, she pushed her body past her limit every single day, to the point she couldn't even move a muscle during the first weeks doing that. And for some reason, it worked. Gradually, her body became much more powerful, and combining that with my special chakra control skill and her mother's reinforcement technique. Yeah, I can safely say that she has become one of the most dangerous shinobi of this whole village in terms of pure physical power. Hell, in this village I think there are only 2 people who can catch up with her now, which is Rock Lee and Might Guy of Team Guy. Naruto finally stopped rolling on the ground and burst into smoke. Shadow clone? But when did he? And how did he even? Forming hand seals with just one hand? Now it was Tsunade's turn to be startled. Where did he even learn that? Well, just know that during our trip, we stayed at Karagakura for quite some time, Jiraiya answered. And Karagakura is famous for shinobi who can form hand seals with just one hand. And one of those happened to be the brat's friend, you know. I have to admit, you really made me surprised when you did that sudden substitution with Sasuke, Sakura. Behind. But when did he even? Sasuke snapped his head back and swung up, right in time to block a heavy strike coming down his head from the shorter sword on Naruto's right mechanical hand. He winced under the sheer force of the strike. He didn't even think the artificial appendage could have that kind of ridiculous strength. But Sasuke wasn't the student of the professor for nothing. Using the force of the strike as the momentum, he twisted out of the way, and now Naruto was the one who had to block the strike coming down his neck by the very same short sword he had just used to attack Sasuke. The 2 elemental blades once again clashed against each other. But, hey! Sasuke was startled when the blade of the longer sword on Naruto's left hand suddenly surged forward, aiming at his left thigh, and at the same time, the pressure under his blade suddenly increased tremendously. Ho, that's a move from the famous Knight Nichiryu. Hiruzen mused when he realized the Kenjutsu style Naruto was using. Never thought I would live to see someone using that style again. Shit. Even with the Sharingan, I can't. Luckily for him, he had Sakura on his side. With a deafening battle cry, the kunoichi slammed her foot down, and the ground heaved. Both Naruto and Sasuke felt their bodies being tossed violently upward, and thanks to that, Sasuke was able to avoid the deadly slash coming at his thigh. The blade soared under his leg harmlessly, and his sword was released from the lock with Naruto's other blade. Acknowledgement. Glancing at the girl, Naruto's eyes widened when he saw her forming a tiger seal. What is she? Genjutsu, bringer of darkness. Genjutsu? No matter, there is no genjutsu that can affect me. Then Naruto was startled when he saw darkness covering him. What? How? This genjutsu is a very advanced one which manipulates the light signal coming from your eyes to your brain. Muratabi warned him. It is not something you can dispel just by scrambling your chakra wildly, so be careful. Oh, great. I didn't expect Sakura could become that powerful. Losing his vision against someone as powerful as these 2, even in just 1 second, means death. He needed to do something. Of course. I can try sensing their emotion to figure out where they are. But that means I have to use my chakra mode. Wait. There is another way. He landed on the ground. Staying firmly on his feet, He closed his eyes. Half a second later, when they snapped open, there were orange pigmentations around them. And everything appeared more than clear in his senses. He lashed out, knocking Sasuke, who was trying to deliver a sneak attack at him from his left, away. Did he just enter perfect sage mode in half a second? Now even Hiruzen was shocked. Jiraiya chuckled. Now that's what I called a student surpassing his own teacher. Actually, Naruto asked me and the sages of Myaboko too. He paused a few seconds to find a suitable answer. Train him in sage mode just about a month after we left the village. It was hard, but he absorbed the knowledge even faster than I could imagine. As you all know, in order to enter and maintain sage mode, the user needs to have a total understanding of his chakra, as well as the ability to perfectly control the input and output of it. That's why most users of sage mode have very good chakra control, and have to stay still for a long time in order to gather a chakra, as just a slight imbalance would ruin the process and bring irreversible consequences. But he paused again. But this time just for dramatic effect. One of the advantages of having something like Naruto's prosthetic arm is that he has to practice chakra control constantly. Now, nature chakra was sent into Naruto's sword, and he slashed at Sakura, who was standing a few meters away. Even if he couldn't touch her physically, sage mode allowed him to hit enemies from a distance with powerful, undodgeable strikes of nature chakra. And that figure over there was definitely the real Sakura, the source of the genjutsu. If she was hit, the genjutsu would be dispelled. But it seemed Sakura had expected that to happen. At the same time as Naruto swung his sword, Shanaro-oh-oh. She also threw her own punch. A deafening explosion ensued. Sakura didn't have incredible speed as Lee or Sasuke, but she had extreme power to compensate for that. Yes, the pink-haired girl now had the power to match a strike of nature with her own punch. And she was doing that while maintaining an S-rank advanced genjutsu created by the first Hokage. The force of the explosion was so immense it sent Naruto stumbling a few steps back. But it also managed to break Sakura's concentration on the genjutsu, and light returned to Naruto's eyes. Ugh. There. Not wasting even a second, Naruto regained his balance and closed the distance between him and Sakura. He delivered a quick slash at the girl's torso, with the clear aim of taking her down before she could do anything else. But Earth style, Earth flow wave. Naruto was thrown off his path when the ground under his feet heaved once again. And it seemed Sakura had practiced this strategy for quite a long time, because she almost didn't lose her balance at all. And that was the chance for her. Shanaro-oh. The cartridge was loaded into her gauntlet with a loud crack. Then with a very fast jet step, the girl closed the distance between them. Naruto's eyes widened. If that punch landed on him, then sage mode be damned, he would definitely have to stay on hospital bed for a month. Shadow Clone Jutsu. A clone popped into existence next to him on the air, and managed to push him aside before eating the whole punch of Sakura to the stomach. It was dispelled violently, and Naruto winced when the memory of the clone rushed back into his head. But now, Sakura was exposed, he can finally land a hit on her. No, not quite. She still has. And just as Naruto expected, right before his foot even touched the ground, Sakura had changed her direction with another jet step right in midair, and was now descending down his head with a deadly drop kick. But this time, Naruto was already expecting it, and by launching chakra out of his own feet, he managed to shoot himself away before Sakura's foot landed on the ground and made a crater under it. Not letting Naruto catch his breath, Sakura closed her distance again with another jet step and launched punches after punches at him. Unlike the taijutsu trade with Sasuke, Naruto couldn't afford to block any of her punches, even in sage mode. That's why he was being forced to dodge frantically right now. With his supreme reflex from sage mode, he could do that without too much effort, but he knew he couldn't dodge forever. And there's no way for him to counterattack in this state. Ha! With a loud cry, chakra exploded from Naruto's body like a storm, throwing Sakura away. Naruto landed on the ground and quickly backtracked. There's no reason for him to stay close to this dangerously violent girl for long. Blitz, take Mikazuchi. Alright, my master. Load cartridge. Second form, Akidachi, what? Naruto immediately dodged to the side right before the blade of lightning could skewer him from behind. He took a few steps back and carefully rated the problem. On Sasuke's hand wasn't the chakra katana he saw before anymore. The handle of the weapon was now much longer, and the blade had retracted into a shorter, but broader and curved, form. The two prongs on the hilt of the katana were now hugging the root of the blade instead of spreading out, and under them now the cylindrical construct Naruto had seen in the katana had also changed shape a bit, becoming bigger than before. And for some reason, There was now a rope tied into a bow right below the construct. In short, the katana had become an naginata. With an incredibly quick movement, much faster than before, Sasuke thrust the spear at Naruto's mechanical hand. It struck, and the sword in the hand flew away in a brilliant arc, stabbing into the ground before fading away back into Naruto's seal. The Uchiha spun the naginata in his hand and retreated back to where Sakura was standing. A sentient multiform chakra weapon, utilizing the Masamune cartridge system, huh? Jiraiya mused. Where did he get that? Who is the one making it for him? The third Hokage grinned. Will you believe me if I say he made it himself? Jiraiya shot a blank stare at his teacher. You're kidding me. Nope, Hiruzen shook his head. I have to admit, Sasuke has a brilliant brain, just like that of Tobirama-sensei. Not only did he learn the chakra materializing technology Tobirama-sensei used for his Sword of Thunder God in just 2 years, he also managed to figure out the concept behind the making of sentient weapons like the Saimata of the Mist and the Masamune cartridge system in Sakura's gauntlets through research, and replicate and even improve them to a far more advanced form in that weapon. And that form change is his own innovation, even I didn't know where he pulled it from. And I have to say, that isn't even half of the things that weapon can do. Then he shook his head. And people call me a genius. Jiraiya couldn't say anything else. He just stared at the battle in front of him with a shocked expression still lingering on his face. I didn't think you still have such a trump card hidden. Naruto gritted his teeth. Answering him, Sasuke slipped into a stance Naruto never saw him using before. The blade of the naginata was pointed ahead, and Sasuke's body itself was lowered to the point it looked similar to that of a sprinter who was ready to leave the starting point on a starting block. On the contrary, he said in a low voice. This is nowhere near my trump card. Then Sasuke moved. In a single step, he closed the distance, and the naginata was thrust at Naruto mercilessly. With the enhanced reflex granted by Sage Mode, Naruto dodged the strike quite easily, but to his surprise, another strike came just as quickly, and another one, and another one, and another one. Shit. Even with Sage Mode, I can't keep dodging like this. A naginata is usually used for slashing. But with a blade made of lightning chakra, it can easily be used for stabbing also. Even Naruto didn't know if a blade made fully of lightning could pierce a Senjutsu-enhanced body, and there was no way he would test it on himself. He would have to disarm Sasuke, even if he had to break that weapon. Holding the remaining sword by both his real and mechanical hands, Naruto delivered a downward slash at the naginata with all of his strength, enhanced by Sage Mode. If this slash couldn't blow the weapon away from Sasuke's hand, then at least it could still do severe damage to it. However, Sasuke quickly spun the spear and blocked the strike. And to Naruto's shock, it was his weapon which was chipped a bit from the collision, not Sasuke's. The recoil sent him stumbling a few steps back. What the? You think I didn't learn anything after all of my swords were broken during battles? Sasuke stopped, pointing his naginata at Naruto. Let me tell you, Take Mikazuchi was made from the scythe of that dead Akatsuki member. Naruto's eyes widened. Hidan's scythe. Adamantine. So that's why. That's right, Sasuke continued. And if you don't have anything else to show me, you are going to fall under Take Mikazuchi's blade. He pressed on again. And this time, Naruto retreated. He didn't want to waste the remaining of his Sage Chakra, as he would need it if he was going to do what he was going to do. Blade Storm Projection, he yelled, and 50 kunai appeared on the air behind him and launched themselves towards Sasuke. The Uchiha's eyes widened, and he leapt back and spun his spear, deflecting the kunai. But that opening was enough for Naruto to keep a safe distance between them. The Jinchuriki breathed out, if he can just keep doing this, he might be able to wear Sasuke down quite a bit before delivering the decisive strikes himself. Don't even think that only you can have range attacks. Take Mikazuchi. Load cartridge. Combination successful. Plasma style. Crescent slicer, plasma. Style? Hiruzen smirked at the gaping mouth of Jiraiya. Yes, it is Sasuke's exclusive advanced nature. He heard about the concept from Naruto, and has been trying to replicate it by himself to little avail. When he created Take Mikazuchi, he added in a feature which allows it to do multiple tasks at once. Which also coincidentally allows him to use it to replicate the process to make advanced nature chakra. So far, he can do it with two elements. Lightning and fire, ionizing air molecules to an extreme level. Make plasma. The contraption lying below the blade of the naginata slid down, revealing a bigger than usual revolver cylinder under it. As quick as its activation, it slid back into place with a snap, and Sasuke raised the weapon high above his head and swung. A crescent wave of white, Extremely hot plasma was launched from the blade, destroying all the projected weapons on its way and rushing toward Naruto. Even from afar, Naruto knew that the attack couldn't be blocked by any means. He immediately jumped aside, and the plasma wave soared past him and cut a long trench on the ground before dissipating. Then a pair of hands came out from the ground and grabbed his legs. Oh shit. I nearly forgot Sakura. But how did she? Naruto's eyes widened when he realized what was going on. It's not like Naruto didn't sense Sakura's chakra. It's that he couldn't. Even with Sage Mode on, he couldn't sense any chakra coming from Sakura at all. The girl had become so adept in chakra control she could suppress her own chakra completely, even during a jutsu, something thought to be impossible for a human to do. And Naruto realized immediately what the pink cat was going to do. He quickly reached into his weapon pouch and pulled out something. A tri-pronged kunai. Tsunade's eyes widened. Is Naruto going to do what I think he's going to do? Sasuke's eyes narrowed when the kunai left Naruto's hand and flew at him. Are you kidding me? He snorted, and deflected the knife easily with his weapon. Earth style, headhunter jutsu, Sakura yelled, and Naruto was pulled into the ground. Before disappearing in a yellow flash. What? Ha! Flying thunder god jutsu, suckers. A few meters away from Sasuke and Sakura, where the Uchiha had deflected the kunai to, now stood Naruto, who was holding the same kunai, not one but 8 of them, and 20 other similar ones were hovering behind him. Eat this, Naruto roared, and threw all the kunai on his hands towards Sasuke and Sakura. At the same time, the kunai behind him also shot forward like tiny missiles. Like hell you will. Sasuke started, but Sakura was the one who reacted first. She clapped her hands together in a snake seal, and a huge stone slab burst out from the ground, blocking every kunai flying toward them. Nice thinking, Sakura. If he can't get any kunai near us, he won't be able to teleport. Hey! Then suddenly Sasuke felt his face being kicked brutally from the side. He was sent flying, his back crashed at the ground painfully. What the? Okay, now this is just ridiculous. How did he even do that? Hiruzen asked in shock. In order to teleport to his enemies, both Minato and Tobirama-sensei had to utilize a special formula seal. How could Naruto use the jutsu without it? I didn't even see him touching Sasuke directly. Jiraiya didn't answer. He just smiled triumphantly and returned his attention to the fight. Wait a second. Tsunade suddenly spoke up, her eyes widened. Could it be? The Toad Sage cut in. I would rather you didn't speak it up out loud, princess. That is the secret behind Naruto's inheritance. It is not wise if anyone else hears about that. Hearing that, the legendary medic didn't say anything else. So that's why he allowed himself to be cut by Sasuke at the beginning of the battle. But seriously. Forming a summoning contract with himself, then, using the hemoglobin in his blood as a beacon, summoning himself to whenever he wants. So simple, yet so brilliant. Why didn't anyone in the world think about this? And in order to do that without even using a hand seal. Hee. You really did choose an excellent apprentice, Jiraiya. Finally, she chuckled. I have to say, I'm really impressed with you right now. Jiraiya grinned back. And you still don't want to go on a date with me? Don't push your luck, idiot. Meanwhile, the members of the Konoha 15 standing in the training ground were all gaping in disbelief. Holy crap. Choji breathed out, his eyes were both as wide as 2 dinner plates. All 3 of them. That can't even be considered Jonin level anymore. Yeah. Shikamaru drawled. That's not even ninja fighting anymore. It's just like seeing 3 monsters beating the shit out of each other. What a drag. Even though what the Nara boy said was offensive, no one could even find any word to argue with that. This level of power, on all 3 shinobi of Team 7, now far surpassed any Jonin they had seen before, even Kakashi, even Guy. It was just like seeing that battle of the Hokage, the Mizukage and Jiraiya against Orochimaru and his 3 zombie Kages again. Naruto-kun. Hinata looked at the Jinchuriki with newfound admiration. You have become so strong. I'm not done yet. Another tri-pronged kunai sword passed Sakura's neck in just a nick of time, and Naruto appeared next to her in another yellow flash right before delivering a punch enhanced with nature chakra at her back. Now it was Sakura's turn to be sent flying. She was slammed into the air right next to Sasuke painfully. With only one jutsu, Naruto had taken back the advantage in the battle. This is the end. Naruto roared, teleporting to Sasuke's side again and throwing his last punch with nature chakra at his chest. If this could land, it would be the final blow. But before his fist could reach the Uchiha, I'm done holding back. His wrist was caught in mid-air by Sakura's hand. With a very quick and professional movement, Sakura twisted his left arm back and locked him in place. He tried to struggle, but the grip was so strong he couldn't even move his arm. The Flying Thunder God Jutsu doesn't actually increase your speed, it only enhances your attacks with the surprise element which people usually mistaken for speed. The voice of Sasuke rose in front of him. Its disadvantage is that in a battle of high speed, just like the Chidori, you will need extremely fast reflex and speed on your own to keep up with the movement if you want to use it in close-range fights as effectively as the 4th Hokage, which you could only have with that Sage Mode of yours. Yes, of course I know about Sage Mode, the Uchiha added, to Naruto's surprise. And another thing is, you are not allowed to let yourself be caught physically, or you will bring them together with you wherever you teleport to, and the surprise element would become moot. Sasuke had also stood up. And unfortunately for you, when it comes to speed, no one in Konohagakure can surpass me now. He raised his right hand, and lightning chakra started gathering. Don't be so sure, Sasuke. And Sasuke and Sakura felt blades nicking their skin. Clones of Naruto were standing behind them, holding their swords right next to their necks. And all around them, swords, kunai and shuriken of all kinds were hovering menacingly, ready to fire anytime. Being like that, and you still managed to hold us in a deadlock, Sasuke chuckled. You really are the most unpredictable shinobi of Konoha, Naruto. Then, surprisingly, the Uchiha let his jutsu dissipate. I think that's enough for you to give your verdict, right, Hokage-sama? From the audience, Hiruzen walked up with a smile. Indeed. Considering what I saw today, I can safely say that considering fighting ability, you are already worthy of the Jonin rank, Naruto. You haven't even used your most powerful jutsu, and yet you managed to fend off 2 of my most powerful Jonin in the force, fighting them to a stalemate. And I must say, you really learned a lot during your training trip. I guess both of you would agree with that, aren't you? He looked at Jiraiya and Tsunade, who smiled. So I am a Jonin now? Naruto asked, excited. Hiruzen smiled at him. Nope. You will need to do a written test first before I can decide your promotion. Aw, man, everyone laughed. Hiruzen threw a scroll at him. I'm kidding. Here you are, your Jonin flak jacket. Although we will have to take care of quite a bit of paperwork, but I guess I'll just give you a promotion for the heck of it. You already fulfilled all the requirements anyway. Oh, and since one of a Jonin's jobs is to take care of a team of his own, just prepare yourself for when your own team comes to you, Naruto. Naruto paled. Everyone else laughed even harder. Right at that time, Fu, together with Kakashi and the other Jonin of the village, walked into the training ground. Ah, there they are, the Hokage turned back to Fu with another smile. I believe your test also finished, right? Yes, Hokage-sama. Guy gave his trademark nice guy thumb up. Fu-kun has shown us a most youthful spirit today. Not only did she manage to fend off both me and Kakashi at the same time, she also showed the most magnificent cooperation with her tailed beast. And she even managed to convince everyone that the tailed beasts are not simply tools for destruction, by showing them one of the most elegant and beautiful fights ever. Hiruzen looked at Kakashi. The Cyclops gave him a nice smile. That's right, Hokage-sama. I would say, she totally deserves to become a Jonin as soon as she completes her own Chunin exam. Fu groaned. I still can't be promoted straight to Jonin immediately? I hate exams. Everyone broke into laughter again. Hiruzen grinned at the girl. Don't worry, Fu, the next Chunin exam is going to be in next month. With your level right now, I'm sure you will be able to blitz through it easily. After you complete it, I will promote you immediately to Jonin as per Guy and other Jonin's recommendation. Now, I guess everything's done here. Everyone can already dismiss. When everyone was leaving, Tsunade waved at Naruto. Brat, come with me. There is something I want to show you. Finally. Konoha. I'm finally here. Baki-sama. Please hold on just a little longer. Naruto blinked when he saw Tsunade leading her to a place at the back of the hospital. Why are you taking me here, Ba-chan? Don't tell me you want me to have a checkup like before I left. He trailed off, and shuddered. Frankly, I'm actually considering that, Tsunade said bluntly, and Naruto paled. But actually, there is something I want you to see. It's something I want to give you as soon as you get back to the village. Come here. The pair walked into a corner Naruto had never been to at the times he had to go to the hospital before. Tsunade walked to a double door at the end of the corridor and pushed it open. Inside was something Naruto could call a laboratory rivaling even that of Orochimaru. Strange machines and pipes and wires of all kinds filled all the walls of the room, and many doctors wearing white blouse were busily working on them. The only thing that might be different was that the room was much brighter and livelier than the ones in Orochimaru's dungeons. Tsunade walked towards a doctor at the corner, who Naruto realized was Dr. Ishida, who usually took care of him when he was sent to the hospital. The doctor turned around, and smiled when she saw the pair coming. "Ah, Naruto-kun, welcome back." And Tsunade-sama, she bowed at the legendary medic. "Is everything still going as planned, Ishida?" Tsunade asked in a sharp voice. The doctor nodded. "Yes, ma'am. If everything's going according to the plan, the recreation will be completed in about a week. But I think you should let him have a look at it first. In case he doesn't want it." Tsunade nodded. "That's what I'm thinking of, too. Shall we?" Dr. Ishida pushed a button on the machine she was working on. The wall next to it started folding up, revealing a smaller room behind it. In the room, there was a strange machine with a container-like device. And inside it was an arm. "No way." Naruto marveled at the thing in front of him. "Is that?" Tsunade scratched her head. "Well, yeah. When I reattached your left arm to your body, I kinda took some cell sample from your flesh, skin and bones to research. And I managed to grow and construct the cells into, well, that arm. It is, basically, a recreation of your own right arm using your own cells. It can be considered a masterpiece of medical science, coming from your one and only." She puffed her chest out, which made her huge breasts bounce in a strange way. "So this is why you didn't allow me to recreate my own arm using creation of all things, huh?" Naruto glanced at her. The legendary medic sighed and bopped his head. "Do you even know how a human arm is structured? As far as I know, your jutsu requires you to know thoroughly about the structure of the thing you want to create, not only the form, but also what are inside it, the blood vessels, the nerve system, the chakra network, etc. Had you tried to recreate it yourself, the arm you would get would have just been like this one." She tapped his mechanical arm, lifeless, stiff, unable to utilize chakra at all. "It might even have less use than a block of wood." "She has a point, you know," Kokuo in his head said. "Your knowledge about human anatomy is still not enough to create additional limbs or organs for yourself. Creating additional limbs requires you to have not only understanding about how they are structured, but also about how they connect to the rest of the body, how they work, how they are supposed to grow together with your body, and many things else. Then how does Fu-chan always grow wings to fly on her own?" "That's because she uses my own physical wings as the blueprint to create them, Naru-kun," Chomei answered for Kokuo. "Nothing is better to be a blueprint to create something than that exact something, right? And she never uses those wings for an extended time, remember? Huh, when you say it like that. Besides, whenever you managed to recover from near-fatal attacks, your organs were not totally, utterly destroyed like your right arm, so using whatever remained, Kurama could base on the cell structure of them to replicate the structure to the cellular level, and what remains of them to hypothesize the general structure of the organs in order to regenerate it," Kokuo added in. "But like I said, there is kinda nothing of your old arm left in this world anymore, so. And even things like that would have their own drawback. Just a single mistake could have caused horrible cancers in the organs." Naruto winced. "You really didn't need to say it like that, you know. So why do you need to ask me about it?" Naruto blinked at Tsunade. "It's your present to me, and it sounds so great, I would accept it even if you don't ask me, right?" The legendary medic hesitated. "Well, the truth is, even with all the cells I collected from you and all the technology provided, I could only grow them and shape them up into the form of the arm. There was no other way to make it, well, alive and possible for a living body to use. So I kinda had to splice in some cells from the body of my grandfather. I'm pretty sure there wouldn't be anything bad happening, but to be honest, I'm not quite sure what effect it would have on your body." And there you go, Kurama facepalmed. Hashirama cells, answer to every question. "That's why I want to ask you about it before doing anything," Tsunade continued. "I understand that you wouldn't be very thrilled with the idea of using someone else's cells in your own body. Not to mention it's something I kinda had to desecrate my grandfather's tomb for." Naruto pondered about this. The idea of having a real arm, a working, biological arm for himself was a very tempting one, and with a very powerful addition to it to boot. He knew what a human body can do when enhanced with cells of the first Hokage. It was the very thing that made a 19-year-old Obito with half of his body crushed powerful enough to fight on par with his father, the legendary Yellow Flash of Konoha. It was also the thing that gave Madara the Rinnegan and made him, thanks to the brilliant and stupid idea of Kabuto, powerful enough to crush the whole Shinobi alliance under his feet. And he actually needed a way to improve his wood style, too. The truth is, Naruto had been practicing with style for a while with the instruction of Saikyo. Combining two elements together was what he could do easily now, and with the slug's ability, he could theoretically add the element of life into the mixture of chakra. But so far, the best he could do was making a bean sprout come out of the ground. The level he was at right now was not nearly enough to bring to a battle. If he accepted that arm, maybe he could do something to improve it. But still, the idea of having Hashirama's cells implanted into his body disturbed Naruto as much as it tempted him. If he did that, he would be no different from Orochimaru, Kabuto or Madara. What should he do? To be honest, I think Naruto-kun should just accept the arm. Everyone turned to Matatabi, who had just said, "Just think about it in a pragmatic way. Doing that might be immoral, I agree, but it's not like we have a choice, right? Naruto-kun has learned how to control himself very well with that mechanical arm during the 3 years, but allowing him to continue using it when we have a powerful, suitable replacement which is arguably much better than it is just stupid. And besides, if we need to fight someone like Madara in the future, more power means more advantage for us, right?" There was silence when everyone digested this. Finally, Naruto said, "Well, I accept, Bachan. I will take that arm. But are you sure there won't be anything dangerous happening to me if I do that?" Tsunade nodded. "I'm sure. Well, there might be some small problem with the movement of the arm right after the implant, but it will be fine with enough practice. There is no time for that, Naruto." Everyone turned towards the entrance, where Sakura was standing, breathing heavily. The pinkhead gasped out. "Lord Hokage told me to find you and bring you to his chamber as fast as possible. I think there is something urgent going on." "Jiki, what happened?" That was the first question Naruto asked when he arrived at the Hokage chamber. Hiruzen stood up and gave Naruto a sheet of paper. He didn't smile. "Read this, Naruto." Naruto took the paper from the Hokage and read. His eyes darkened with each word he read. "Hokage-sama. Sunagaku is under attack from a force of at least 10,000 troops, which I suspect was sent by the Akatsuki. I'm really sorry that I have to ask this, but please send reinforcement as soon as possible. Regards, Gaara of the Sand, Kazekage." "Then why are we still sitting here?" he exclaimed, throwing the sheet of paper down. "We have to go help Gaara immediately." The Hokage nodded grimly. "That's why I'm calling you here, Naruto. Your first mission as a Jonin would be to provide assistance to Sunagaku as soon and as much as possible. Accompanying you would be." Right at that time, the door to the chamber opened again, and Kakashi and Sasuke walked into the room. "So, a mission for Team 7 again, huh?" Naruto grinned. "Kakashi will be the leader of the squad during this mission," the Hokage continued. "Remember, this mission is not something I will accept failure of. Do everything you can, and," he finished with a grim tone, "come back alive." That's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on my other social media accounts. Anime God here, and I'm signing off.